Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we're going to be doing another weapons comparison, and we'll be comparing the plasma pistol specifically, because in our last video, where we compared the shotgun across all the Halo games, people in the comments section pretty much voted for the plasma pistol as the most popular request. So, that is what we'll be doing today, and we'll be comparing across all the classic Halo games. Now, I do keep mentioning this in every single video, but people keep asking me in the comments regardless, but I'll keep reiterating it. I cannot compare this to Halo 5 because, as far as I'm aware, there are no mod tools that exist that let me view the necessary information for the plasma pistol or any other weapon from Halo 5 to make the necessary objective comparison. Without the numbers, I can't actually compare it. These comparisons aren't supposed to be like observation comparisons, they're actually hard numbers. And with hard numbers, let's get right into Halo 1 for this comparison. So with Halo 1's plasma pistol, it has a max range for the regular shots, because remember the plasma pistols have two different kinds of projectiles to it. But with the regular projectiles, the non-charged ones, it has a max range of 60 meters, velocity of 25, slowing down to 15 meters per second as it goes. And a single shot does 20 points of damage, which is actually pretty decent. Now, to fully charge it up, it takes about 0.6 seconds, and when you fire that charged bolt, that bolt itself has a max range of 40 meters instead of the 60 for the regular bolt, and its velocity starts at 15 and slows down to 10 over time. And that charged bolt itself does a whopping 70 points of damage, which is enough to take out your shields completely and can do quite a bit of damage to unshielded enemies as well. It's a pretty lethal weapon actually in Halo 1. So just keep those numbers in mind, and let's move on to the next game. With Halo 2, the plasma pistol is more or less very similar to Halo 1's plasma pistol, both visually and functionally, with one big exception actually. And it's actually a major feature of Halo 2, that was what I was introduced in Halo 2, and that is the ability to dual wield plasma, or pretty much multiple like one-handed weapons that you could dual wield. So with that in mind, that is one advantage to Halo 2's plasma pistol, is that you can dual wield it and basically do double the damage. So if you want to double these numbers for dual wielding, then go right ahead. But just for one plasma pistol alone, the base weapon, it has a max range of 40 meters, velocity of 11 meters per second. It only does 7 points of damage though per shot, so it's a lot less than Halo 1's 20 points of damage. A lot less. Its charge time is the same, 0.6 seconds to fully charge. And then when you fire the charge shot, that shot has a max range of 40 meters, just like the regular shot. Velocity though is a lot slower, 5 meters per second, which is still a lot slower than Halo 1's. And it only does 1 point of damage, but it's actually 0, because the Halo 2 plasma pistol charge shot, it only does EMP damage, which against like unshielded enemies like grunts or any other enemies, it's multiplied by 0, so it becomes 0. But against enemies like sentinels and other shielded objects or shields in general, it's actually multiplied by anywhere from like 50 to 100. But that doesn't matter. Basically, it does 0 points of damage, unless we're doing like a sentinel only comparison, in which case it's pretty good. But it really doesn't make a difference. Now for Halo 3, it's more or less functionally the same as Halo 2's. You can also dual wield it and everything, but when you charge it and you hold the charge, it actually drains the battery even if you don't fire it. So that is one downside compared to Halo 2. Now as for the stats, the Halo 3 plasma pistol has a max range of 40 meters, velocity of 21 meters per second. Its damage is still the same as Halo 2's, 7 points of damage, so for the most part it's the same. However, its charge time is slightly longer, 0.8 seconds versus 0.6 from Halo 2 and Halo 1. And then when you fire that charge shot, its range is 40 meters, has a velocity of 12 meters per second, and it does a charge damage of 400. But that's also just EMP damage. So whereas in Halo 2, it did 1 point of damage times 500, depending on the enemy you shoot it at, or rather the shields that you shoot it at. Halo 3 does 400 points of damage times 1. So it's kind of like the reverse of Halo 2, but ultimately it does the same. But technically speaking, it does 100 points of damage less against like shielded targets than Halo 2. but ultimately it still does nothing to unshielded targets, so it really does 0 points of damage. So it's not a lethal shot. Now, as for Halo 3 ODST, its plasma pistol is identical to Halo 3's, but I'm still going to mention it because there's one little difference between ODST and Halo 3, and that is you can't dual wield anymore. So any like dual wielding advantage is all gone in ODST. So you could just, if you wanted to multiply any stats by 2, you can't do that in ODST. And that's actually the same with Halo Reach. The plasma pistol is back again, and it's actually like Halo 3's where it drains as you hold a charge, but you can't dual wield it either. So it loses that dual wielding advantage from Halo 2 and Halo 3. But overall, it's actually still a decent weapon in Halo Reach. Some of the stats are actually a little improved. But let's take a look. So its max range is still the same, 40 meters, but its velocity actually starts from 20 and accelerates up to 30. So it's actually one of the fastest plasma pistol shots, projectile speeds, compared to all the other ones. And its damage is actually pretty high. It does 16 compared to 7 from Halo 3 and 2, but still lower than Halo 1. Its charge time is the same as Halo 3 and the same as Halo 3's, which is 0.8 seconds to fully charge. And of course, when you fire that charge shot, it has a max range of 40 meters, velocity of 12 meters per second, and it does a charge damage of 200, which is not really a big deal in Halo Reach because there aren't like sentinels or anything. So it's you don't have too many targets to use it on aside from shielded targets. So basically, all the plasma pistols, the charge shots will take out the shields in one shot. So ultimately, the charge damage doesn't really make much of a difference overall. Now, moving on from Reach, which slightly improved the plasma pistol as far as damage goes and velocity goes, we are going right to Halo 4, the last game we'll be comparing, because like I said, we can't do Halo 5 due to the tools not being available. Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing. Since Halo 3, going on to Halo 4, the plasma pistols can EMP vehicles and stun them, which is a pretty cool feature, and actually it's a pretty useful thing. But anyways, moving right along, the Halo 4 plasma pistol has a max range of 40 meters. It has a velocity that starts at 20 meters per second and accelerates over time up to 30 meters per second. It does a little bit less damage than Halo Reach's plasma pistol though, which is only 14 points of damage versus the 16. But its charge time is the exact same as Reach and 3, which is 0.8 seconds. And when you fire the charged bolt, it has a range of 40 meters and a velocity of 12 meters per second, and of course a charge damage of 200, which again is not really that important in the big scheme of things, which it's still EMP damage, which is actually 0 damage against organic targets. But I guess against Prometheans it's a little more effective maybe, but ultimately it's still not, you're not going to be using the charge bolt to like take out enemies lethally. You'll be switching to another weapon like a battle rifle or DMR, which is the nuke combo. So which Halo game has the best plasma pistol? Well, this is a pretty, I thought it'd be a pretty easy comparison at first, and I would just declare Halo 1 the best plasma pistol. But there actually are a few variables, a few factors that make it not like as clear. And that is the fact that you can dual wield in some of the games and double the damage. But ultimately, Halo 1's plasma pistol is still the best. Not only do each shot do a lot more damage, but it does more damage than any of the dual wieldable plasma pistols, because the most powerful dual wieldable plasma pistol only does 7 points of damage from Halo 3 and 2. If you double that, that's only 14, whereas a single shot from Halo 1's plasma pistol is still 20 points of damage. And not to mention that, the charged shots from the Halo 1 plasma pistol, it does 70 points of actually lethal damage, whereas all the other plasma pistols in later games, they only do EMP damage, which is basically 0 when you charge it up. And the only advantage that the newer ones have, aside from dual wielding, is that you could stun vehicles, which you can't do in Halo 2. But that's about it, and I don't think it's enough of an advantage in the newer ones to warrant them having an advantage over Halo 1's pistol, so I'm going to have to declare Halo 1's plasma pistol the best one out of the entire series. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video and found this comparison to be interesting, make sure to leave a like, and leave your thoughts in the comments. if you guys want me to tackle another weapon, just let me know what you want it to be, and whichever one's the most popular request, I will definitely get around to it in the next comparison video. But yeah, other than that, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.